Welcome to Season 3 of Uganda First. My name is Frank Walisimbi. It's long since the show aired, but we believe we have been using the time to practice patriotism as we taught it here in the last 2 seasons of the show. If you're ensuring that your locality is safe, clean and enjoyable, you're being patriotic. If you feel your duty to educate the children of this country, you are being patriotic. If you told somebody a good story about Uganda, that is patriotism. And so many other examples of such good deeds I could give here. Today we delve into another important matter, and that is building a quality citizen. Citizenship is a core value that shapes community and country generally. But do we know how to assess our own quality? What standard can we use to ascertain that citizens of country A are of quality? Is it education, good health, participation in their welfare? What could it be? Papa Deo Sebulimage has been on the show for a number of times, and we are glad to have him again to take us through today's topic. And is our first guest in this season 3 of Uganda First. Welcome, Papa Sebulimage, the Principal Officer, Education, Information and Communication at the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, our partners here on the show Uganda First. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. I'm glad to be here again.
Sure.
And I'm happy that you are still alive and kicking after this lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
I also congratulate you. Many people did not make it today because of the pandemic.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to congratulate everybody who has gone through with the mercy of God. And of course, the pandemic is still there, but I think we can succeed.
Yeah, we should not forget the precautions.
Yes, so thank you. And thank you very much for presenting this, because it's very important that we talk about patriotism in terms of quality
of a citizen.
Of the citizen.
Yeah, very important.
So, yes.
We have been away for about 2 months, January, from January the 1st or 2nd week.
Yes.
And what have you been up to as a National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps? Any new activities that you've undertaken?
Yeah, even during the pandemic, Frank, we were doing something.
I remember.
Yes, we tried to innovate, and I'm glad it's one of your core values, innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So when something goes wrong, the other side, you must try something else, plan B. During that time of the COVID lockdown, we went onto radios and television, and we tried to educate the masses and interact with them on how, first of all, they should keep themselves alive by following the SOPs, and also how they should keep their children by giving them those values that we talked about when the children were still in school.
Mm.
And it has produced some, you could see the results were really positive. So we are praying very hard that the schools reopen, which happened actually this
January 10th.
January 10th. So immediately we called our coordinators. As you are aware, we have over 140 coordinators, patriotism coordinators in the different districts of Uganda.
Mm. And
we instructed them that as the children come in, they should have what we call an in-house training. So during the...
To reawaken the spirit of patriotism.
Yes. Slightly before that, we had gone to about 4 or 5 districts trying to meet those children who are in school. When they reopened, remember, they gave us a mandate to have a discussion of at least 200 children.
At a given time?
At a given time.
Okay.
So in one district, we would go, all of us, and we handle 4,000 children in different sessions. 200 today, 200 tomorrow, 200
okay.
there.
That was January?
January,
okay.
Yes, before the 10th.
Oh,
so before 10th.
Before 10th?
Before 10th,
How
yes.
were you mobilizing?
We went to districts like Kasese, Gulu, Rwenzori region, we called those people, we called the students to meet in specific areas, and we would meet them in sessions. Then we would talk to them. The following day, take to another group of students, 200 of them.
Okay.
So by the time the schools reopened, we had over 4,000 children
that you had interacted
with. Yes.
But on the whole, it appears to me not many were alive to the issue of patriotism when schools opened.
Yeah, for sure. You're
and
right.
I am thinking you have a big task now ahead of
yes,
you
really
to go back and reawaken.
Because you asked some of them, can you sing a national anthem? They would only sing one stanza.
They could.
And really testify and confess that we have forgotten the rest.
Sure, 2 years was a long time.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
So yes, yeah. So now what we did, as the schools reopened, we also moved out and they asked those people to make to undergo training when they are welcoming the children. Actually, all the schools mobilized their teachers to reawaken themselves because the different handling now. The children cannot be handled the way they used to be. Some of them have grown up.
Yeah.
They have actually overgrown their sizes. Some have handled money. So you must be careful how you handle them today. Merely looking at them and saying, giving them punishment will not help.
Some are parents.
Some are, exactly. Some are.
you can't punish them for late coming as you used to do back then.
Sure. So we asked our coordinators to have this orientation in in-house training in every school, and we selected some regions, about 10 regions. 10 or 12 regions.
You're still traversing, or you?
Yes, we scattered in different places.
Okay.
We went to Kigezi, to Rwenzori, to Bugisu, Bukedi, and then to Guru and Bunyoro. So these places were trying to find out from them, what have you done to make sure you inculcate this and revamp what we had started earlier. And they combined effort with the school heads, because we have what we call ASHU, Association of Head Teachers of Uganda.
Association of Head Teachers
in Uganda.
ASHU.
Yes, they are on board, and they are brought on board. So they are helping us as they orient their children coming back from those in Senior 1 and Senior 5. They would also bring in our patrons, because each school has got a patron, and we ask the coordinators to coordinate with the patrons so that they get this information, and we gave them forms to fill, that every session must be filled, so that we go out there and see in those schools, have they been trained, or what have they got in this little time they have had.
Okay. So
we've just come back from the field, and the results are positive, because we are saying, okay, we had the training for S2, S3, S6 that time. Those have gone, the Senior 4s. And then what we had was Senior 1 and Senior 5. These are newcomers to the schools. So I think if these ones can imbibe these values you have given them, I think they push the schools forward.
That's with the learners in the traditional schools as we know them.
Yes.
Secondary, primary as well?
Not primary.
Okay. Secondary.
Yeah, in the primary. You see, our mandate was actually for the students in post-primary secondary schools and the youth out of school.
Okay, I was coming to that. Youth out of school.
Yeah, youth out of school.
What
actually,
have you...
Youth. Now, we had started...
Since January, what has happened?
We haven't done much. But so far, for the youth out of school, we have concentrated on Kampala.
Kampala Metropolitan?
Yes, KCCA.
Okay.
So far we have handled about 1,000 students. Well, not students, but youth in different divisions. And actually next week we are having the fourth one at Kazi.
Okay. Shortly we're going to have a look at a video from one of the activities you undertook These are ghetto youths. You found them in Nachifuma Mukono.
Yes.
Nachifuma, yes. We shall have a look shortly. But before we go there, I want viewers and myself, of course, to understand what is this person you call a quality a citizen of quality.
Yes.
Who is this person?
A quality, a quality citizen. First of all, let's look at what is the definition of patriotism. The idea, and we are backed up by the constitution, that every citizen of Uganda must be patriotic and loyal to Uganda and must promote its well-being. In other words, that every citizen must have certain characteristics that constitute what a right person should be, a good person. So by definition, a patriotic person is one characteristic of being a responsible citizen. So we could say a good quality person, citizen, is a responsible citizen. Now then you can say, what is that responsibility you're talking about that it describes the quality of a person? Is that person who is disciplined, who is God-fearing, who is hardworking, who has the value of, and of course has got a national consciousness. Now,
national consciousness, to mean they are aware of what is happening in their country,
what is happening,
and they participate.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you see, when you talk about national consciousness, we are looking at the values that are inculcated by religion and by tradition. Those values are part of patriotic values. The only difference is that they lack that national consciousness. Because you are religion, you are my religion, maybe you go to the same church, we pray in the same church, or we behave the same way because we are tribe mates.
Shared culture, shared
so at
faith.
that level, you don't bother about what happens to the other person.
You tend to become...
Yes, that is a Catholic, that is a Christian.
Self-centered.
Self-centered. Now when you add national consciousness, that person you are talking to may not necessarily be your tribe, may not be necessarily be your religion or your color, but he's a useful person to you. Nationally, you need to discriminate against him. In other words, you are moving away from that sectarian tendency to a wider perspective of a responsible citizen. And that's what we call a quality person. Okay.
It makes a lot of sense. And how about issues like education, good health?
Yes,
Can't we use those as a yardstick as well?
Yes, for sure. The education can be divided into formal and informal education. There are those youths who have never been to school, as you know, but they are good citizens because of the way they were brought up, the norms and values that they inculcated into them when they were young. Ubuntu, exactly, Ubuntu. Ubuntu obulamu. And then we also insist that a good person should be healthy. Should not live a reckless life. So, because a quality person is a productive person. The more healthy the population, the more productive.
The more innovative
the more innovative that population would be.
Yes.
Because if you are sick, and this is why actually His Excellency the President has scored very highly by insisting that we must observe these things that actually happen. You see, many people died when you can't do anything, when you are sick, or when you are dead anyway. The country cannot gain from you. So you must be healthy, you must be and you must be educated. You must be given that skill that can push the country forward by your activity, by your participation in that activity.
On average, you spend about, if you got malaria, for example, to heal completely, you might spend about let's say 300 to 400,000.
Yes,
thereabout.
Right. Yes,
that is money lost, time lost.
That's right. And
so,
also the opportunity cost.
Of course.
What that money could have been used if it wasn't spent on medical stuff.
So it is upon us also to ensure that we live in good health.
That's correct.
If you're told that slash around your home, make sure there is no stagnant water.
Yes.
It is something you must do because it will keep you in good health.
Thank you. We actually went to a school, and I will not mention for the security purposes of that school. There was an institution. And we found the children were well dressed, very good uniform, but they were dirty. The dormitories were dirty. They thought the school had the money, so they would employ workers
to clean the dormitories. The dormitories.
Yes, and then also the
compound.
The compound. So we said, no, there's no point in teaching you the values of patriotism unless you are putting them in practice. And I asked one of them, with my colleagues who had gone on the ground, give me first of all the broom, because they were sweeping the rubbish and putting them underneath their beds. So each one would sweep the nearest to his bed
and push it
underneath, so that the other person, the sweeper, the support staff, would then collect the rubbish and take it outside. So I said, give me the broom, and with my friends. Oh, they said, no, Papa, no, don't. From that time, we cleaned their dormitories, and the following day we said, no, we cannot sit on this because there are a lot of mosquitoes here. We asked for slashers, and in a couple, and we have the manpower, 500 of them in a couple of minutes.
I am hearing that for the first time, that cleaners are hired to sweep and mop the dormitories.
This is very good.
We used to do that at school.
Yes, yeah.
Ourselves.
Yes, sure. The schools we went to,
there was a roster.
Yeah.
Monday, Frank, so and so. Yes. You are the ones working on this.
Values, yes, those values. But some people think that money can replace these values.
It cannot.
So they tell you, okay, for you, your business, pay the school fees, go to class. We shall have people to clean the compound. And so
after you tell this child that you must ensure you are a clean person in the future, how can they be?
Yes,
if they can't do it in school, it should be the starting point.
Yeah, that's true.
I hear you.
And so when we went back to this institute, we were really surprised. They are clean, and they carry the rubbish literally to the pit. They are no longer even employing those workers have been diverted.
It's a good way to go.
Different part of their job.
Apparently, people have grown up in some selected communities where it is thought that working is like punishment.
It's true.
Yes. I'll make you dig because you wronged here and there, so you will dig this part here. And they make it appear like it is punishment, yet it is work, something that we should love, embrace, and appreciate. Okay, I talked about the youth you were interacting with in Chifuma. Let's take a look at that video, and then we'll return with Papa Deo.
Akatuuka mu kifo kino waliwo abayaaye bangi, tekyali kintu kyangu kubanga kumpi bali bagala nakutukuba bukubi, obusungu nga bungi, obukambwe nga bungi. Tugamba bano ababbi betuzzeemu tugenda kubayinza tutya, batukwata amataayi tubawe emmere, obusungu nga buyitirivu. Musomo ne gutandika, naye nga nange muli mutima ngamba ddala mu butuufu abantu bano banaasoboka batya. Olunaku olusooka ne tutandika ku Lwokubiri, tuyingira mu lunaku Olwokusatu, ngenda okulaba nga buli muvubuka mu kifo kino akyuse. Moraali eri waggulu nnyo, ffenna ebintu tubikola tubiyagala, n'olwekyo tuli basanyufu nnyo. Nze ng'omuntu ndi musanyufu nnyo kubanga sibeerangako mu kampu gye nfunyeemu nga kampu ey'omulundi guno.
mbadde muntu wa Buvuyo, mbadde muntu wa Kutankanya, mbadde muntu wa Ghetto ne kusinziira kati mbeera gye ndabye twali tukira ku makya twa training twa drill batubuulira enjiri batunyonyola engeri omuvubuka yosobola okujjayo wansi newetumbula mu maaso tuuza ebintu bya bizinesi tusomere ku bintu bya bizinesi njatwalagana amawere mbavuka bannange so gavumenti eyanziza
asinaba kujja wano nze omuntu gwali ojja n'oŋŋamba 50 kawaniki bakuse nengaagonsaba sente ngaani nga no time wasting nga nkubirawo so kakyenyize mu kambu eno yes ngo twajja tuli bakambwe nga tulina obusungu bungi tuyize ebintu bingi mweno kambu era bukyaŋambawo this is my first camp zena jambaze sente nate byenfunyemu bingi bisize ne sente bayizaweya paka this time nsolowooza ekyo mu maaso solooza kiriwo kati solooza mmere yaleero nendowooza kya mu maaso kuba bino byonna mbifunye mu kampu eno nemusanyufu nkuba mulimu kyali wange saazi avudde ku byagayaga so twayanza nnyo eno kampu era badde nsabo baki bakisoboka bakulu abatukulira muddemu bami mutwita abaana b'omu Ghetto kwanza era nkulidde mu Ghetto tata nga yafa n'emyaka 9 nkulidde mu mikono gya maama sasobola kwongerawo okusoma naye no kampu erina byenjigiriza nti noba tewasoma artist olina kyosobola okukola batuyigiriza banene abasirikale ba training nti twagala ensi yaffe twagala nsi yaffe tetujja jjanga
ebbanga etali awala nnyo nga sinaba kujja wano eno badde musajja mutunzi wanjaga ebisege naye ebbanga limaze nga ndi mu kampu njiza ebintu bingi kuba bwenajjira naliso abantu respect nga manyi buli kimu kyamaanyi naye kyenyize mu kampu omuntu osobola okubeera mu bantu nga tokozeseza amaanyi just nga mukipinze one love and respect naye kirala kyenjize ku parade njiza omwoyo gwa ggwanga bulijjo mbadde simanyi omwoyo gwa ggwanga kitegeeza ki nga zimanyi omuntu ayagala omwoyo gwa ggwanga ebyo omuntu agenda neyekalakasa nayokya ebipiira nakola biki nabikola biki naye nkizudde kibayita omwoyo gwa ggwanga just keeping love and peace kubanga tukwatagana ffenna nga twagalana kuba ffenna tuli baddugavu tuli bannayuganda respect.
Uganda First.
You're watching Uganda First. My name is Frank Walisimbi. In studio, I am with Papa Deo Sewulimage. The program is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism, where Papa Deo happens to be the principal officer in charge of education, information, and communication. Okay, when was that? When did you interact with the young people?
That was slightly before the elections. The elections took place when? That was in January last year.
Oh, January last year?
Yeah, 2020.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
So we
do you do follow up?
We do follow up because we are meeting them in the KCCA divisions now, but quite a number of them have been even calling. They have been calling, sir. Now I have changed. I have been involved in a more productive activity. Frank, that when that program started, I think you saw that the lady was the headmistress of that school in Achifuma. The first day they entered, she couldn't breathe. They pushed her because they were fighting to go for food. They pushed her down and she injured herself. And they said, "My God, am I going to manage this?"
They didn't know. I heard one of them saying, "We didn't know what." Personally, I didn't know what respect is.
Yes, that's true.
I used to think everything, you just grab and take.
Yeah, that's true. And they had brought weapons of their different,
Imagine at the site.
Yes, and they had knives. They had their package of Injaga.
Marijuana, like one who used to sell.
Yes. And so we thought the lady, don't worry, because they brought in secretariat to give them that ideology. And you see, Frank, the section B, section 2 of Article 17 of the Constitution says, all able-bodied Ugandans must undergo military training whenever called upon to do so, in order to defend this constitution and the territorial integrity of this country. And the state must provide facilities for that purpose. So we had to take time to convince them that it was necessary to undergo these simple exercises and parade drills.
How do you even convince them to come? Some of them are...
Oh yeah, I used some of their
They are hardened guys, as you know.
I used I befriended that gentleman, you see, who was saying, for us, me and Njaga were one and the same.
The one who used to sell.
Yes. So I called him, I said, you know what? You are going to change. You know, there is a reason why you have been brought here. And you must go a different changed person. He said, changing me? When I can twist your neck, and in a split of a second, you are gone.
That is his pride.
Yeah, so you do not even make a sound that of a chicken when it is being slaughtered. I said, my God.
Taking pride in killing.
In the evening, first of all, we told them, you see, here, there are certain aspects of life. First of all, we want to check you to ensure that you are safe, because we don't want anybody to come and then start fighting with the other. We collected all the other implements they had and put them together. That was the number one. We did not so much mind about the Njaga on the first day, first 2 days, until we trained them the importance of self-respect and also personal health. Then they started bringing them slowly. Now, to convince them to go to the playground, you know, you have been teaching them, you have 1 hour in the evening. I called a few of them. The others said, is this what they have brought to us? If need arises, we shall go out and we shall do it by force. Now I told them, look here, you are here under military arrangement. Now that you are here, I have talked to you, and therefore you don't bother moving out. You are now here, not prisoners, but you have come to change your lives. But don't attempt to make any difficulty, because some people are willing to come and change. So I collected about 20 of them, and I took my instructors there, and they started marching 1, 2, 3. The others, so we were watching.
Some few drills.
Yes, because some of them thought
evening, morning.
Evening, first of all, in the evening. And then we had about 60 of them that evening. In the morning, we called, we whistled them, and we said, you are waking up at 5 o'clock. Well, we got about 200 of them. All of them had to go out, but only about 120 participated in the drill. By the end of the 3rd day, we had over 400 participating willingly, because they thought, you know, we were militarizing them. We want to make them, you know, military people. We want to beat them, which was different. Our approach is different. It's only those parade drills and paramedical, you know, practices, like turn left, turn nyuma geuka, mbele tembea, simple things like that, which we explained in English and in Uganda.
Okay.
And so eventually, because I think we spent there 2 weeks.
In Nachifuma?
Yes. And the religious people came in to put in their doors, and then the rest was left to us. So we had different people, young people coming to dance, these Bebe Cool and the people they like singing, these youth musicians and so on. And so they enjoyed that kind of thing. We allowed them to vary their activities. And by the end of the week, they had changed. They were testifying. And fortunately, I think this program was, it had been organized by Interreligious Council. It was not by Patriotism Secretariat.
Oh, they organized and then invited you?
They invited us to give them that little dose.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
And then at the end of it all, then they gave them some little money, send-off, and told them, now each one of you must have an identity card to access this money, because it's going to be put on your phone. They said no. Many of them didn't want the idea of being identified. But insisted, if you don't get that, you not get the money, which they did. And then the second part of the money which shall give you will be after assessing what you are doing. And so many of these ladies started going out to buy matoke, and we told them, also, we also give them what we call financial literacy and personal development. And by the time, there's a young man whom you didn't see him, but he's one of our young people who is an instructor and mobilizer, but he's also part of them. He goes with them in their area, they respect him. So
they're like peers to him.
That's right.
Okay.
So he tells us what they are doing, and many of them have come to testify, please come back. Some of them have come back to say, can you come and train us? But now we have embraced them in that umbrella of KCCA.
Okay.
Because we first trained their leaders, 200 of them, drawn from all the divisions of KCCA. And then the second one, so we have had 2 cohorts, and we want to have about 6 cohorts. We have finished two cohorts of different divisions.
All right.
Each division will have 200 coming for training.
Every quarter?
Okay, every, like maybe you can train 1,000 every quarter.
Okay.
Until you finish them.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But right now we have finished about 3 of them.
All right, you're still watching Uganda First. I am with Papa Deo Seulimage. We're looking at the issue of building a quality citizen. How can we be people with quality citizenry, you know? And we've had a look at that video from Nachifuma. There is another by Brigadier General Patrick Mesije, is the head of National Secretariat for Patriotism Co. He is speaking about moving together as a nation. Let's watch him, and we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll be back with the discussion.
Uganda First.
Are you in control of anything? Beginning with your body parts, what else are you in control of? Because without control, they will ask you when you are dead, what did you do? And you say, sir, I was just a teacher.
Uganda First.
If you are a nation, if you are a people, young people like you, if you want to get out of your situation, you must be ready to transform up here, change from the things that you believe, you used to believe are the right things, to a new setting. And this is why we came here. We want to change the way we are believing, the things we are believing, that they were true, that maybe they were the way to go, and we'll tell you which way to go. The first is what I've been talking about, discipline, transformative discipline. Transformative what? Discipline. The word transformative means that you fundamentally change from what you were to a new and higher level. You change from one level to a higher and qualitative level. Never to go back again. Are we together? So we have to liberate ourselves from negative beliefs. Number 2, values. Values are principles which guide us in life, isn't it? Yes. Like you say, me, in my life, I will not cheat anybody. Some of us own shops, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. But in these shops, we cheat our customers. Yes. 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 For example, if we checked your scale, mizan, it's not proper, isn't it? Yeah. It's not proper. I've never bought anything in Kampala on a proper mizan. You buy 5 kilograms of meat, you have bought 3.5. Yes? You buy 3 kilograms of sugar, that is 2. And we are all cheats, that's why we don't prosper. Because every other day we customers are cursing you people. Yes, so positive attitude is important if we are to prosper. If we are to prosper, we must have positive attitudes. And to have positive attitudes, we must give away all the negative beliefs and
You're watching Uganda First. I am Frank Walisimbi. The program is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co. I am with Papa Deo, is the principal officer in charge of information and communication. There is always a question that comes in when we air some of these videos from your interaction with the people. And many are asking, do we have to do those drills? Do we have to appear like we're training for some military conscription or something? You start marching, you are wearing green. What informs that?
The importance, yes. Yeah, thank you, Frank. As I told you, we start from the framework, the legal framework.
Oh, the other
17,
Article
yes,
17.
Article 17, Part 2, which says all able-bodied citizens of Uganda must undergo
at any time.
At any time, we are called upon
if
to
need
do so.
arises.
If need arises. So, and you know, the preamble of the Constitution says, "We, the people of Uganda." So it's not a making of secretariat. It's not making of individuals.
You are implementing.
We are implementing, and we are implementing something that is very useful. And the first thing we tell them is that we are not coming here to militarize you, because this is not the forum. There are other areas where if you want to become a military man, a UPDF,
that is up to you.
It's up to you
to make decisions.
That's a different thing. But we teach them the importance, first of all, of exercises. The use of exercise.
Healthy body.
Yes, healthy body. And you know, once you are healthy, then you can be productive. And we tell them, when you do exercises, you tend to, your body mechanism, metabolism, tends to be very active, and so removing some of the unnecessary substances from my body. So you therefore prevent some of these, what we would call malingering diseases, or diseases that would come forth out of maybe redundancy. So, and there are many examples of this. So once you have done that, and you tell them the use of military exercises is that, first of all, actually the army is the most organized unit system in the world. Because when you say mugusawa, meaning pay attention,
all of us at once.
All at once.
We are paying attention.
And we tell you there's no moving around, there's no, you must remain attention. It means something is about to happen. Some other instruction is going to take place. And you must be alert. So alertness is one of the important
And uses. Alertness is not only important for the servicemen.
Not exactly.
But
not
even as civilians,
yes,
we have to be alert.
Yes, that's
at
right.
all times. Alertness, focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know whether, yes. So we tell them, okay, when you say on attention, the instructor would say, now we are moving on the left. Shoto geuka, meaning you are all must turn together. Meaning that if you are told, if I am on the assembly, and I followed this, Frank, when I was a teacher, head teacher at that, when you had trained in Chankwanzi, I came back to school. I was in Namdian College. And I controlled the whole school alone. When the head teacher was there, when the teachers were not there, I called the assembly, I put them in Mugo Sawa, and I told them, here, move forward. You don't ask. In the military, you don't ask, where are we going? In the front there were slashers.
You'll ask when we are there.
Yes, you ask when we are there. So each one pick a slasher and in turn on your right. Line up. We are all going forward and we slashed. The whole compound is clean in about 10 minutes. So when you tell them, do this, it's for your own good. That's why even in class, you know, you went to class, to school where they say, keep quiet. We don't have time for that. No, it is keep quiet once. So when you're in the assembly, the students will listen to you. When you're in the class, they will do what you want. And if you want them for a good purpose, you are telling them, go, let's clean. They all go at the same time. It's teamwork. And teamwork is one of the values of patriotism, which I'm happy even here as I was seated there. It's one of your core values, teamwork.
Teamwork.
Excellence.
Innovation, excellence.
Innovation, yes. Those are important things that you... So when we teach these children the military drills, we are telling simple military drills, like marching together. You see, when you have been walking and when you are marching, your left arm goes in front as your right hand, your right leg is behind. So that means they are moving in what? In rhythm. Unison. Yes, in unison. I think we have seen if people are clapping, they say we clap together, pa 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 pa. It's not like this LC1 style, which one is when you say asante sana, you clap together, and that means you are going to listen to what the teacher is doing. In our villages, you even ululate. Yes. So those military exercises bring teamwork. And then, of course, save time. Just briefly, what is your experience with politicians? I know that of late you've been inviting. I don't know whether it is the Secretariat itself or some other other people invited them. But I know that you train the politicians as well. We do, yes. What is your experience with them? Councillors. Many of them, as you know, because of multi-party dispensation, there are some people who have been fed on information contrary to what this program aims at. And they think, some erroneously, they think that this is a program which is aiming at a different thing altogether. Maybe maintaining the president in power, or maybe talking about ideas of NRM. You understand? So they forget the importance. But I always tell them, I am not shy to talk about that NRM is in the government and this program is good for them. So we are following what the government is put in place according to its manifesto. And we have to educate them to that. But do they appreciate this whole idea of patriotism? By the end of being responsible citizens? If we take about a week, by the end of the third day, they are testifying because of information, because of historical disorientation, and because of the information that has been, wrong information that has been fed to them. There are some actually, even if they don't change the way we want them to change, but they don't remain the same. At least they have the idea. They have yes, an idea. Because when you tell them, look, historically we were left divided. It's not the government which has divided people today. It's the colonial setup. Did you know that, for example, that at independence, we were given our, our independence on the silver platter, although people had, of course, shed some blood, but they don't know that we are not independent yet. And you are fed on wrong information, which you keep on. They tell you who are the first man to see the source of the Nile. And we have marked, it is speak and grant. That is one topic we want to explore on this show. And they give me wrong marks. I've been fed, I got first grade, but on wrong what? Information. Wrong information. They tell you right speak and forget the Vasoga who lived there. Exactly. For centuries. They tell you why, for example, who was the person who helped in stopping slave trade. And they tell you Dr. David Livingstone. That's rubbish. No, he didn't. Because he was actually telling people that slaves were no longer necessary. And therefore, instead of enslaving them by capturing them and taking them to America, let us come and enslave them in their own country by making them work and producing exports. Growing cotton forcefully. Growing cotton, yes, yeah. And there came Hesketh Bell with his general. Anyway, yes, that's right. So you see, Frank, you see that's the kind of information. So when afterwards they have got this information, because disorientation is very, very bad, they come to realize, oh yes, we're being fed on wrong information. We tell them, for example, about the periodic table. You understand periodic table? which gave us in chemistry, they gave us only 24 elements. 24 elements. There are over 90 elements in chemistry, but they limited us to something like calcium and then potassium, iron, because these are simple things which are found here. They didn't tell us about lithium, about these other very important minerals which were found here, because they didn't want us to go ahead and say, hey, so these are found here in this country.
Okay. Just before we take a look at another video, I'm not sure, do we have any WhatsApp thoughts coming in or questions? All right. Before we watch this other video, I would like to know if the citizenry is not of quality, how do you tell? And how can you redeem? Because some are adults, yes, you may not be able to engage them in like you engage the learners, yes, in schools, or youth out of school.
Yeah,
some
you may not actually, you may not, even in your village, when you go to a village and you say, for example, if we spend, we tell them about spirituality and and the righteousness with God. That's one of the things. Now, when you love God, you do what God wants you to do. You go to the village and you find somebody who is spending most of his time drinking, and you say, does that person love himself? So changing that person would need to change his mindset.
Is that one of the indicators of citizenry that lacks quality? Citizenry,
doing the things which would be destructive to the norms of the society.
And their own health.
Yes. In which crime can be prevented or crime can be enhanced. So somebody who is disciplined would avoid that kind of activity that would lead him to destroy the image of the society. So you see, when we talk about these values, when you go to the old people, you are not telling them exactly what you tell the children, because the
conversation
children,
is different.
The conversation is quite different.
Okay.
You tell them, okay, let's share the value of work, for example. What is the value of work? The value of integrity, as my friend was talking about, cheating people by making those weighing scales crooked. And then time management. We have watched, people, when we are dealing with the old people, say, can we be here by 8 o'clock? And 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock. Can we have lunch in 20 minutes until it's done? That means we are sparing time to do something else. That means time you are saving. And then we also teach them what we call financial literacy and personal development. Because it's not enough to get enough money. You can have enough money, but if you don't have a mindset change, you will destroy yourself. You will spend that money.
Be just as useless.
Yes, as useless. So eventually when you hear people talk, they say, oh yes, I have been earning a lot of money. I've been getting loans.
But nothing to show for that.
Nothing to show. There are projects which you can do even when you have saved very little money. Because for them, they think investment must require huge sums of money. I'm poor. They say I'm poor. And we tell them poverty is in the mind. It's in the mind, because capital is actually a Latin word for the head. So it means if you don't have capital, you don't have the head. You're not thinking. Okay.
Let's take a look at this other video. It's again training that you undertook in Kazi. In about 4 minutes, and then we'll come back and wind this up.
Uganda First.
Are you in control of anything? Beginning with your body parts, what else are you in control of? Because without control, they will ask you when you are dead, what did you do? And you say, sir, I was just a teacher. Yes, we have had very many teachers. But how many teachers have caused the change? Are you getting me? How many people can change? So self-engineering is taking control of yourself and taking control of others.
The abundance of the resources we have not been sufficiently harnessed. The reason being that those who are supposed to harness are not ready or are limited in training, outlook, and skills. There are other societies that are complex and developed that are looking at us and are doing everything possible to exploit our resources at our disadvantage.
If they are not transformed, if they are not changed, that means we are looking at the world in a negative way. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. For example, we like stereotyping. 2, we are biased. 3, we are full of ourselves, egocentrism. All those are mindsets. A good leader must ensure that his team, he exploits the energy and stamina of the team to excel in whatever is being done. Isn't that what we say? Yes. And a good leader must be one of integrity, who keeps his name clean and safe.
That when you are a teacher of history and economics, you cannot be a farmer. It's not there. But because your mind has been put to the fix, thinking that for you only to develop, there must be that attachment. And that's wrong, my brothers and sisters, teachers. It is the high time we start to think.
That is Besigo Isaac, the parade commander.
Patriots must understand that media content produced must be, first of all, constructive, must be tolerant, must be never careless, must appeal to ethical principles, must be responsible to the public norms and morals, be patriotic, never threat national interest.
This country has immense opportunity. Let me conclude by once again thanking you for being good Ugandans, for having offered, for having sacrificed to join the path, the journey of transforming our country. Don't look back. We can only wish you higher and higher heights. Secondly, thank all who have made your training comfortable and successful.
Uganda First.
All right, we've come to the tail end of this, but Papa Deo, you could use about 1.5 minutes just to appeal to parents, especially on how they can build quality citizens, because it starts at home, as you've been telling the people on this show.
Thank you, Frank. Actually, a nation starts with you, first of all. It starts from the family. That's very important. So, dear parents and all those others looking after the children, we task you, because parents have become absent landlords. They have left work to third party. The teachers are suffering from a disease called TB, too busy. The parents have the same disease. Parents are saying, well, some of them are working, they don't have the time with children. When they go to school, the children, so many, they don't have personal touch. So we think that the cooperation between the teacher and the student and the teacher, I mean the parents and the teachers, can bring up a wholesome citizen. And that's my appeal. That first of all, play your role as a parent at home, bring all these values. Then when you bring the child to the school, the parent, the teacher will represent you and complete the circle.
Thank you so much, Papa Del, for your time. Each time that we invite you, you ensure that you're here.
Thank you so much.
We're so glad.
We're grateful. Thank you for being patriotic. I have watched you, and my people who watch you certainly know the kind of work you are doing.
My pleasure.
With your colleagues.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Uganda First, every Thursday, 11 up to 12 p.m. The program is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co. Let's wind up this with another video still from the National Secretariat. And Brigadier General Patrick Messenger still talking about moving together as a nation. Until next Thursday, my name is Frank Walisimbi. Have a good afternoon.
Uganda First.
We are trying to build a citizenry that thinks and acts together. A country that has citizens who think almost the same and act together develops faster than that one whose citizens think differently and act differently like we are. The biggest problem is discipline of our people. We say we are going this way, they say, why are you taking us there? For us, you found us going this way, we will continue going this way. If we say we are going to now, like the national program in the vogue is the PBM, the party have had, the principle of the main link, that is knowing your priorities. You can't touch here and there and you think you are going to win. Never, never, never rely on your emotions and feelings. Emotions and feelings in the leadership, they will make you fail. Emotions and feelings are just subjective attachments to something. They do not represent the true nature of the situation. But it is investigation and finding out the true facts and understanding circumstances that will lead you to win.